Oh god, that was an awful intro and I didn't know what to do.
Do we need to redo it?
I think we might need to redo it. What should I do? Do I just smile at the camera like?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Do it again.
You get used to it when you vlog. Oh, blah. Hi guys, welcome to today's vlog. I'm here with Harley.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about your unpopular opinions you gave us. So this is mainly horse based. We're just here for your entertainment, so I hope you enjoy it. Right, our first unpopular opinion that we were given was chestnuts look good in red.
I don't even know if that's my opinion, to be honest.
I think chestnuts look fantastic in red.
So do I.
I don't think it looks smart, but I think you can put chestnuts in red and it brings out their fieriness. But I wouldn't go and compete up the levels in red if I had a chestnut personally.
Yeah, but that's like with any proper colour, isn't it? You wouldn't go up the levels in purple or green or yellow.
Well, if it suits your horse, you could.
But you're not allowed, are you?
Yeah. Not in dressage, but you can show jumping and eventing. I just wouldn't compete up the levels in red if I had a chestnut.
I just think that people should put whatever colour they want. If they like it, wear it. Who cares? This is how this vlog's gonna go, innit? I can just argue either side.
We're gonna spend most of the time arguing on our opinions.
Just because I like to be an argumentative little beep.
Right, next unpopular opinion. I've never actually heard this one before, but it's GP saddles are trash. Which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh dear.
I think the point of this was that GP saddles don't fit any horse, they're just made to make the rider comfortable. I think that was the point of the unpopular opinion.
Is that true?
Which is absolute rubbish, because no one's going to put a saddle on their horse that doesn't fit the horse. Whether they want a GP saddle or not, they're not going to just put an ill-fitting saddle on a horse.
Some people do.
People that don't care about their horse do.
In general, GPs, I've always used GPs.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with GP saddles. They've never ruined any horse I've ridden. They've always fitted beautifully. They're one of the easiest saddles to kind of fit because they're more in the shape of the horse, whereas dressage are straight cut. Yeah. Jump saddles are very forward cut. GPs are just a general easy saddle to fit. So I think that's absolute rubbish that GP saddles are trash.
I love GP saddles. I have always had GP saddles. I think I've had one jump saddle over the years. And yeah, they're great. They fitted everything. I've got one saddle that literally fitted Willow, Murphy, Bambi, Simon and Indy. That's 5 horses that it fit.
They fit the rider. They're the easiest saddles to learn in.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry too much about having your leg in a specific position and all that jazz. But yeah, GP saddles are cool. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I love GP saddles. It's all about the GP. For us, like, we're not big jumpers or dressage, so why would we have a jump saddle when we want to do everything? Like, some days I want to go schooling, so I don't want to be schooling in a jump saddle really. I like doing nice flat work. Some days I want to jump. Can't do that in a dressage saddle. So, yeah. GP
all the way. Next one. Excessive matchy is a waste of money and looks tacky.
What do you have to say about this one?
Well, I like matchy to a point. I like the saddle pads, and if you need boots are brilliant. Don't put bandages on your horse unless they're exercise bandages and you know how to bandage. Ear things, I think they're okay, but I think if you need ear things, you should kind of use the proper ones that actually make the sound a bit quieter. I don't like people putting ear bonnets on just to match because they just get the ears too hot. It just makes their ears hot and they get irritated. If I tried to put it on Livy, you'd probably put me on the floor. I just don't like it. I like saddle pads and boots. That's as far as my matchy will go.
See, I'm different. I disagree. I think if you want to buy matchy, you have the money to buy matchy. If you want to buy all the matchy and put all the matchy on your horse, do it. But I agree, don't bandage. I think people using bandages just to look pretty is just ridiculous.
Horse killers.
Yeah, yeah. Also boots. I have to disagree with boots because boots heat up the legs. They can screw the tendons up.
Not if you use proper boots.
But how many people are going to go out and buy proper boots? If they're going to do that, they're not really going to be that matchy, are they?
Well, if you're going to use boots, make sure they're proper ones.
Yeah, but so many people just stick tendon boots or brushing boots on and just don't know any different. Their legs heat up. So,
educate yourselves.
So yeah, I think that's worse than putting Pretty Little Ear Bonnet on my pony. But I like Indy's ears to match her number. I can't help it. I really can't help it.
And ears are just excessively expensive, unless you buy cheapo.
I got like 5 ear bonnets for £5, and I love them. They're great.
Right, next one. People not washing their bits after riding is nasty. I'm in so much agreement with that. Wash your bits. Do not put a dirty bit in your horse's mouth. It's like eating off of a dirty plate. You would never eat off a dirty plate. So don't put a dirty bit in your horse's mouth. If you've got to put a bit in your horse's mouth, then at least wash it and make it clean. If not, go bitless.
I'm really bad for this. I've never really washed bits after riding, unless they're proper like green and gunky. Like if they've been eaten or something, then yeah, I'll wash it off. But if it's clean, once it comes out the mouth, it's clean. They're not gonna die from a bit of a dirty bit.
They're not gonna be happy.
How do you know? Surely it's better that
See, there is no right answer to this question. Wash your bits after use, because
yeah,
your horse is not going to like a horrible taste in its mouth, and that's not going to help with your session.
So yeah, wash your bits.
People who let their small ponies get away with things because it's cute and funny are stupid. I semi-agree with that. It depends. If the horse is yours and you're capable of it, fine. But then don't get pissed off at your horse when you're actually trying to do something and it reacts in the same way. If it's not your horse and it's a child, or you've got a child riding it, don't do that, because that is stupid and you're going to put them in A&E, because you don't know when this horse is going to react and do something like that.
I kind of agree but disagree. It depends. If
it's not causing the pony any harm.
Yeah, if it's not causing the pony any harm, then if you're going to let it get away with that, fine. Like with Susie, she came to me and she's sassy, like she rears. And I just let her get away with it because there's no point fighting it. That is what she's doing, and if you ignore it and you carry on, it's fine. So in that sense, like, she's funny, she's cute when she rears, it's like haha, but I wouldn't let anyone else get on her. Like, I wouldn't put anyone else at that risk. So, but it's like, I don't let Indy get away with it, because I don't think it's cute.
They're trying to do it to get out of work. That's just annoying.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they're sassy little ponies. Then sure, okay, that's their character.
I think if you're like, you taught your horse to rear, but then it's always rearing, like not just on command, just to be sassy, and they're like laughing at it, don't think that's cute or funny, because one day it's going to do that to somebody else, rear on top of them, and then you've got problems.
And even if you say you're not going to sell your horse, you never know what circumstances will come about. Like, I've always said I'm never going to sell Monty. Not that I could sell Monty if I had to, but I don't know what the circumstances are going to be like in a few years' time. Maybe I'm going to be homeless on the streets.
It's fine, I'll take him. Unless we're both homeless on the streets, then we just have to take them with us. Tie him to a tree. You're not cute, you're not funny when your pony kicks someone in the face. But if you're doing it and it's fun, then yeah, sure, get on with it. As long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
Why does it really matter?
It's your horse, your business.
Unless it's like putting you in hospital all the time, in which case...
Don't put strain on the NHS.
Don't put strain on the NHS.
Right, next opinion.
What is the next opinion?
Calling someone out isn't bullying. I agree with this. If someone's doing something stupid to endanger themselves or others, then call them out about it. If they're doing it and they know they're being stupid, call them out about it. If they're doing it and they're just inexperienced and they're not really sure, give them a polite kind of gesture towards that they're being stupid.
And if they don't listen to that, call them out on it.
always give constructive criticism rather than hate, I think, in that sense. Don't suddenly beef someone straight away because you don't agree with what they're doing, because there might be a reason, and not everyone knows everything. Make sure it's always constructive what you're saying. Don't be beefy about it.
Don't be horrible like I was, basically.
Don't be Harley.
Don't be me, and you're just fine. But yeah, I agree. Like, if you're gonna call someone out on it, at least be constructive, and don't just do it just to be a dick. If they react badly to it when you're just trying to educate them, and they start on you, then go ahead.
Don't start on them with that. That's childish.
I think you should go ahead. No, but don't get personal. That's the thing. Don't get personal. Keep it strictly to what you know from the post and general equine. Don't go real life either.
If you're not constructive, it's bullying.
Yeah, if you're just doing it to be horrible, that's bullying.
Be constructive.
Be constructive.
Most horses don't need shoes. I agree with this. I've seen lots of arguments about that on Facebook.
Everybody argues whether a horse needs shoes.
Most horses don't need shoes. I'm in total agreement with that. If you don't shoe a horse when it's a baby, then its feet are going to get strong. It's all about their upbringing.
Which leads on to the fact that if you buy a horse that's older and has screwed up feet, it's going to take time to go barefoot. You can't just have a horse with shoes on, get it, take its shoes off and be like, you're fine, go ahead, because you're going to cause more damage. I see so many people like, oh, I've got a new horse, their feet aren't that good, and there's so many people going, go barefoot, go barefoot. And it depends, like you can't just suddenly jump from shoes all its life to no shoes. You've got to be willing to put in the time, the effort. It's all about diet and like how you deal with it. And unfortunately, a lot of equestrians don't want to educate themselves. They just want to take their shoes off, go like, and that's it. They don't want to bother about different feeds and management, and that's the problem. So yeah, most could go barefoot, but most equestrians are ignorant.
All horses can go barefoot, it's the owners that can't go barefoot, basically.
Yeah, but that's not, I can understand that in some instances. Some people just can't, like it's hard. I think it's hard because if you're like show jumping at a top level or eventing at a top level, why would you then decide to take your horse's shoes off for however many years to try and get their feet solid enough to do it barefoot?
Yeah, I think it's all kind of in the first instance. If you put horses on a shoe, then that's just detrimental for them for the rest of their lives. If you leave your horse barefoot, normally it's not the breeder that does it, because most breeders will sell their youngsters on when they get to like 2 or 3, and then it's the next owners that think, oh, I want my horse to look fancy, let's put some shoes on it. They're being detrimental to their horse's lives and welfare.
I think there's a point that once you go past, you almost can't come back unless you literally don't want to do anything with your horse.
Yeah.
For years, and then you've got to weigh up if your horse likes being worked, leaving them trying to go barefoot for however long.
I agree with that. It's all at the beginning of the horse's life is so important, and once you've gone past that whole natural stage of it and you start getting mechanical and putting shoes and stuff on, then that's it really. It's hard to go back from that.
You can, like, we're not saying you can't.
You can, and I completely recommend you trying.
Yeah.
But it is hard and you have to put in a lot of work for it.
And for some people that's just not possible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sadly.
Even if they want to, sometimes too much damage has already been done.
Yeah.
And it's better for the horse's welfare to keep them how they're happy and comfortable than making them go through it.
Horses who are lame without shoes are still not sound with shoes. 100% yes. There's a reason your horse is footy or lame when it hasn't got shoes on. Mainly, the biggest reason will be because your horse's feet aren't strong enough. But most horses, like we said before, if they're never shod, then they will never have a problem. It's those that are had shoes and had them taken off that are going to show lameness without shoes.
So I think that also ties in with the last one.
It takes time.
And also, if your old horse is lame without shoes but comfortable with shoes, what do you do?
There's not a problem with putting shoes on if, say, you're not trying to cover up a problem, you're just trying to keep them comfortable.
Yeah.
If you're trying to cover up a problem, then
keep them going and riding, then that is
an issue. There's always a reason why your horse is lame without shoes.
But if you know that and you know why they're retired and they're more comfortable with shoes, do it. Like, the welfare of the horse is always best, and making them comfortable is always important. I'd rather them be comfortable and not go the right way than them be uncomfortable and doing it the right way and
Pretty
suffering.
much.
Because
Yeah.
it's not fair.
Welfare is the most important thing.
It's all about the welfare.
Right. Just because a vet, instructor, farrier, any kind of professional tells you to do something with a horse doesn't necessarily mean they're correct.
I agree with this. Like, unfortunately, vets only know the basics to begin with. There's so many young vets now. Like, a lot of the older vets that have got a lot of knowledge through experience have retired now, and there's a lot of young vets about. And yes, I'm not faulting what they've learned in vet school and all that lot, but unless they dive into certain bits like nutrition, feet, they don't know details about it. They know the horse, body, that lot, fine. But they're not mind readers. They're no different to us. They just have more knowledge about health. And yeah, sometimes they can get it wrong.
You know your horse best, and if something doesn't feel quite right and you're doing what you've been told to do, then I say let the professional know. I always say go with what your vet or the professional has told you to start with.
Yeah.
Never just do your own thing, but you can adapt to what they've said to suit your horse's needs. You can make like rehab programs longer, you can just alter their feed a little bit just to suit them. But I think in the majority of cases where people are so uneducated these days, go with what the professional tells you. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, because if they're wrong and they make things worse, then there's paths you can go down for that. Like, I don't recommend suing a vet, because at the end of the day that's their profession and they're only here to help you. But there's always alternatives. There's never any rush to get your horse better, and if there is, then you're a terrible owner. Make sure your horse feels best. You know your horse best. Listen to what the professionals tell you and take it on, because there's always going to be a bit that's correct. Everything gets misinterpreted.
Yes. I think
That's the problem. Things get misinterpreted, and you don't always understand what a vet says. Like, I know I don't, because they use such savvy languages sometimes, I have to go and Google it. There's always good intentions behind what they're saying.
Yeah, like, I don't doubt that. I don't disagree with that at all. I just think that if something does not feel right or something is not working for your horse, you're in every right to go get a second opinion.
Yeah, if you're unsure, get a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion if you don't feel like something feels wrong with what the vet has suggested to you.
Yeah, not even a vet, so farriers and stuff. I know there are some really weird farriers that shoe strangely, and back people that claim to be back people because they've done an online course, that kind of thing. But your horse's welfare, again, is always top priority.
Do your research into them as well. Look at like reviews of what they've done in the past. I think reviews tell a lot about people.
Make sure they have proper qualifications and not internet-based qualifications. You can't learn to be something practical over the internet. Horse's welfare is top priority, and if it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Yeah. Also, instructors. You can get some really dodgy instructors nowadays. So if what they're telling you to do is say, draw reins on your horse and it will make it go rounder, if that doesn't feel right to you, go get a second opinion from a different instructor, because they'll probably tell you that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, instructor doesn't always have to be qualified. I found some of the best instructors don't have any qualifications. It's kind of all knowledge and knowing experience and knowing the basics of horses. If they don't know the basics of how to get a horse going, then even if they're qualified up to like a fellowship level, then don't listen to them. Basically, if it doesn't feel right, if it's not working for you, you're quite in your right to say no, we need to stop this.
It's not about what's on paper a lot of the time, it's about their experience, their past, and you can get videos nowadays of instructors seeing how they ride and that sort of stuff. So there shouldn't really be a reason why dodgy instructors get away with it.
You and your horse are priority.
And you know your horse and you know yourself best. So if something's not right, get a second opinion.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just don't try to offend the people in the process, because that just causes more drama.
Polite.
Yeah, be polite,
most instructors completely respect. Everyone teaches differently. Just they will respect if you say this isn't working for my horse. Sometimes they'll ask for your opinion and they'll work with you to change things up a bit. Sometimes instructors are set in their own ways, which fair enough. If their way works all the time, well, most of the time, then fair enough, they can be set in their ways. Just make sure you're doing what's best for you and your horse.
Mares are better than geldings. I agree.
What an argument.
I agree.
I agree in most aspects,
Oh, do you?
but it depends what you mean by better in what way. Mares, I think,
Every way.
Mares, I think, are sassier, and usually that means they're going to put a lot more effort in for you. Geldings kind of just do what you ask a lot of the time, but they're a lot more docile, so I guess they're better in that way.
Yeah, but they're not fun like mares. They just plod along and do what you ask. And they're like, okay. Mares are like, no, bitch.
I think some geldings are sassy.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
unlikely that you'll get a sassy gelding, but you're more likely to get a sassy mare. But I think in a lot of ways, yes, mares do have a lot more potential than geldings, but obviously you've got to be brought out the right way.
Yeah, you can also go very wrong with the mare.
Yeah, and they can cost you a lot more in vet bills.
Oh yeah. But mares are the best. I love my mares. I love Simon, he's a gelding, but he will never measure up to the mares that I've owned in the past. All of them have been fantastic.
Yeah, I've never owned a mare, but the mares I've ridden, they have always kind of, once you connect with them, they'll give you a lot more than a gelding would, I normally find. Geldings don't suck, they're just better in different ways and not normally the ways you want them
people.
to be. No, geldings tend to be safer and better.
Yeah.
Get a gelding for your first horse.
That
It
mare.
just depends what you want it to be better in. That
Yeah.
depends what you're looking at.
But you have to be prepared for a mare.
Yeah,
You have to know what you're getting yourself into.
prepare yourself.
But I think mares only suit people that are mare people.
Yeah,
Like you gotta go against a mare. You can't just be bullied by a mare.
yeah,
Otherwise, you got problems. If a mare like walks all over you, you got big problems.
yeah.
You got to give them that sass back.
Yeah, you've got to be the right person to own a mare.
Yeah. And all of you that aren't, geldings are for you.
And there's nothing wrong with a gelding.
No.
A lot of the top horses are geldings.
Because they just want to
They just want to please.
please and go along with what you're saying. They're like,
They're not quite so hormonal. So just because you've been riding since you were 3 doesn't mean that you know everything, you can fix every horse.
Sorry, but most riders at 3, they kind of stay at round about the same level until about 10.
Yeah.
Realistically, as kids, like it doesn't matter
Because
what
they
type of
can't
pony.
process, it's not a problem with them.
No.
Kids can't process as much as a more grown-up person can.
And also, you may have been riding, but at exactly the same. You may have hit 10, where you know you walked up counter jumps, and you think, oh yeah, I've got it from here. So you may just, although you'll improve a little bit, you're just kind of riding at the same bog standard.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
So hot, I'm so hot.
We're so hot. I'm sorry, it's really hot out here.
Just because you've been riding for such a long time doesn't mean you know everything.
No.
Nobody knows everything. There is so much stuff out there knowing about horses.
And it also depends on the type of horse. Once
Yeah,
again, it all
every
goes back
horse is
to-
different.
Yeah.
You can't always fix every horse. Every horse needs a different approach. Sometimes they need different riders. Just because a horse doesn't like your way of riding doesn't mean you're a bad rider either. Just because you've been riding longer doesn't mean anything. You might have just been riding once a week and someone could have been riding half the time but every single day.
Exactly.
And you're going to just improve faster, depends on how quick you can process things.
And also, some people are just more natural. They pick it up quick and they just go along with it and it works. Whereas other people struggle and you have to work hard on it. Everyone will find things they struggle with.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to be naturally connected with horses, then
bless
you'll
you.
find you probably progress a lot quicker and you'll probably be able to kind of solve a few more problems. But doesn't mean if you're not natural with horses then you can't solve the problems, you just have to work harder. It isn't always teeth, back, pain related. Yes, check those things, but if you're training in the same way and wondering why you are still getting the same results is dumb and you may need to change your training method. I totally agree with that. There's always a reason why your horse is misbehaving, whether that's pain related or whether that's training related. So they might be confused, they might be fed up with what you're doing. I'd always go down pain route first, make sure you get the vet at. Don't go straight to your back person and be like, oh, my back's my pony's back's fine because they can't see inside your horse. Go straight to the vet, go straight to your dentist, go straight to your farrier. Then if the vet recommends you get a back person, get a back person. Always look down pain-related areas first.
I definitely think you should look at pain first. I did that. I went through vet, back, dentist and saddler. Turns out my mare was just being a mare. It's not always pain. Sometimes it's hormone or sometimes your horse is just having a bad day.
Yeah, there's always a reason behind it. They're not just being naughty because they, for the sake of it.
Yeah, they're not just being a dick to be a dick.
Horses don't have a long enough memory span to remember that, oh, last week she hit me, so I'm going to try and throw her off today. A horse will only remember like the past few hours. It won't remember yesterday's ride. Every ride is new to them, and there's always a reason, whether it's training, pain,
or they're just disagreeing with the age you're giving them.
Yeah, and a lot of time that's because they're confused.
Yeah, and that leads back to your training methods, unfortunately. Some people just are so set in their ways that they're like, no, this works and it will, I'll make it work, rather than changing it up.
And a lot of time, the more you keep going with it, the more angry you get with yourself and your horse, and that makes it worse. So you've got to be open to changing your methods.
Yeah, and then everyone gets frustrated and it just doesn't end well.
No, so always look into why your horse is misbehaving. There's always a reason. Don't just get angry with your horse for no reason until you've realised why.
It may not be a vet, but it may just be that your training methods aren't working with the horse.
You'll find that a lot of the time you get a novice on your horse and they're just going round on the end of the rope like dawdling along. Your horse is absolutely fine because they're not asking anything of it, which then will really indicate that it is your training method. Not
that you should necessarily put a novice on a hot-headed horse.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a stupid idea. And just because a horse doesn't agree with your training methods doesn't mean you're a terrible rider and your training methods are bad. Some horses just need to go down different routes. Some horses need a more sympathetic rider, some horses need a more bolshy, pushy rider, just because of their character. Every horse is different.
So I don't agree or disagree with that. I think sometimes it's vet, but sometimes it isn't.
Always go down the pain route first, I think. Just because, imagine if you were in a lot of pain and someone was making you do something and just thought it was because you're lazy. Show condition isn't an excuse for your horse to be obese. Showing standards these days are absolutely awful, I think. Yeah. They expect you to have a fat, obese, paddy horse when in reality that's not healthy, and showing's all meant to be about breed types and showing off the correct standards and stuff, but a fat horse is not correct.
A fat horse isn't fit either.
No, they're just going to cause you so many health problems. If a judge doesn't like your horse because it's fat enough, tell them that you don't like them because they're too fat.
Or don't do that.
Or don't do that.
Don't do that, just politely nod and leave.
No one's forcing you to show.
It's not healthy, and they really need to look at showing standards because it's not right at all.
No, if you go in a show ring, 99% of the horses you see will be lame, and judges just pass that off. I've been to many shows where they've passed off a lame horse because it's at the standard they want it to be at, so they place it first.
And it looks pretty.
And the reason the horse is lame is more than likely due to the fact that it's in show condition and overweight.
Yeah.
Do not have your horse in show condition. You can joke about it if your horse is fat, but do something about it. Don't leave it like it because it's unhealthy and it will cost you a lot of money down the long run.
Some ponies do get fat in summer. There's only so much you can do. Like if your horse is ballooning on grass that is literally not there and your horse lives out 24/7, you can put a grazing muzzle on, but it's not really going to make any difference. It's not long grass.
I always do as much as you can. So you can restrict grazing, you can fence off a field, you can bring them in during the day.
As much if you're fencing
I know, there's so many kind of ups and downs. You've got to weigh it up and work out what is the priority.
Yeah.
So is it, if your horse is arthritic, then allow it maybe to be a little bit fatter so it can continue to move. Maybe restrict its turnout and just give it a lot more exercise. You can do track turnout things these days and all kinds of stuff to help. There's never an excuse for your horse to be obese and not do anything about it.
At least worry about it.
Yeah.
But if your horse is obese and you don't care, I think that's when it's a problem.
That's cruel. You shouldn't breed from a horse unless its conformation and health is really good or you're willing to keep the foal for life. I agree with that, but like I said at the beginning of this video, circumstances change. You can never be sure whether you're going to keep a horse for life. So don't just breed from your stupidly
shitty mare.
Yeah. Just because you're saying you're going to keep the foal for life, because there's no guarantee you will.
I know quite a few people actually online that have said that they were going to keep their foal for life and circumstances have changed and they've had to sell them. So that's a very good example. Don't do it.
Don't breed from a horse with awful conformation. There's so many breeders out there who specialise in good conformation. Each discipline you want different conformation, but like there's so many breeders out there that can help you out, get you a good, and in the long run it will probably be cheaper because breeding costs so much. So unless you are certain your horse has top conformation, top quality characteristics and all that stuff,
and ridden,
yeah, you just make sure you breed from a top quality mare.
Genetics make have a big influence on what they're going to be like when they're older.
Yeah.
So if you have a shitty mare that gets pissed off at everything, if they have a mare, then you're screwed because they'll probably be the same.
I don't agree that breeding is important in a horse, but characteristics is very important.
If you have an aggressive stallion, a lot of their time their offspring end up being aggressive too. It's not fun, just don't do it. If your horse has got an old injury and you just want to breed from them because you want a baby of them, why? Just go and buy a baby. You don't need one of your horse, personally, I don't think so. We don't need any more horses in this world. Like, there's an equine crisis going on. I know this because I rescue them. Like, there are so many horses dumped, and you may say, oh, that's never going to happen to my horse.
But you never know the circumstances.
You never know.
And we're losing so much land as well, constantly losing land. We're going to run out of grazing and everything.
And why are you just going to be selfish and bring more horses in just because you want one from your horse? There's plenty of babies out there that need homes already that are going to have probably better conformation than your shitty mare.
You've always got to look at it from welfare point of view.
Yeah.
That's going to be the top comment throughout this. Welfare.
Yeah. But yeah, I just, from someone that rescues them and sees what happens to them, it annoys me seeing, oh, I'm going to breed from my mare, I'm going to breed from my mare. Why? This is only just happening now. There seems to be like this big thing at the moment. Oh, I'm going to breed from my mare.
It's just people are bored sitting at home.
Exactly, but that's not going to be life forever. Like, it's a big commitment, and also, are people even realising that foaling is dangerous?
It's such a big risk to you and your mare.
Exactly, and you could end up losing all of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, if your mare means that much to you, why would you risk it? I wouldn't. I know, I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I want a foal, I'm going to go out and buy one.
You've always got things to fall back on then as well. If you go out and buy something,
Yeah.
you know, you can see what they're going to be like. Foals can be born with all sorts of deformities and everything. You go out and buy something that's already been bred, you know what they're like.
Yeah, I don't think people really think about the vet fees, the livery fees, everything that goes into breeding a mare. And if you don't do it properly, then that's even a bigger risk to your mare. So what is the point? It's like you're just going to impregnate someone because you want something out of it. That's not right. It's not right. I don't agree with it. I don't mind responsible
breeding is fine.
Yeah, you've got to breed responsibly, otherwise we're going to have horses with loads of problems that we already do. So go out, have them, but don't breed more horses with more problems.
If you don't ease your horse back into work after significant time off, then it's really bad. I agree with that. Monty lives in a field and he's out 24/7. He's constantly walking. He's fit. He's field fit. I know what he's capable of. You know what your horse is capable of. And if you feel that they're tiring underneath you or something, don't push them. Like, a horse that lives out is going to be fitter than a horse that lives in a stable and has been off. So I always think it's the same with humans. You know, pushing a human after an injury, that are going to break them. It's exactly the same. Horses are just as delicate, if not more delicate, than humans. Do not push them.
But one little canter's not going to kill them. They canter out in the field.
Yeah, don't constantly.
Don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it, but you can have fun with your horse. But the best way to have fun with your horse is out in an open space rather than a school, because school surfaces are so unreliable. You've got turns and corners and everything.
Deep.
I always think when you bring a horse back into work, keep him in straight lines, out hacking. That's always the best way to do it. It depends what the injury is, why they've been out of work. If they've just been on a holiday, then you can bring them back in a lot quicker than if they've, say, strained a tendon or something.
And also if their holiday has been on grass,
they're going to be fitter.
My ponies, sometimes I get ridden for a few months and then I'll hop on Indy and have a little walk, trot, canter, and she's not broken.
No, you know your horse, you know what's best. Welfare is most important.
Once again, welfare most important.
Is priority.
But also you've got these retired horses like Simon, Monty, that they're basically just sat in a field because that's what they're happiest doing. But sometimes it's good for them once in a while just to go out and have a blast, because it keeps them
ticking over and happy.
Yeah. If they're doing what they want to do once in a while, they're already pretty.
Yeah, like Monty doesn't like going in the school, so I don't take him in the school. We just go out hacking.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point pushing your horses.
No, like obviously if they're lame as. Like,
don't ride your lame horse.
Don't ride your lame horse. But you know what I mean. In general, if you've had your horse out for a couple of months, and as long as they're not fragile, I think it also depends on the horse's breed.
Yeah.
Like if they're prone to doing a tendon or stuff like that, then obviously bring them back in slowly. But if you've got a hardy little pony that's never been lame in its life,
you've just got to make sure you do it all properly. Doesn't matter what you do it properly. You don't just go out first ride ever and go galloping the whole way. You can have a walk, trot, canter, providing they're not coming back from a serious injury, but just do everything properly.
Yeah, there's no rush. But then again, if you want to have one canter, it's not going to feel the
No.
As
long as they're happy. Just because you own a horse doesn't mean you should ride a horse. There are so many levels to this argument. Your experience, some people just go out and buy a horse as a pet to look out through their front window. They're normally the people that are like, oh, I can't ride, so I'm not going to get on my horse. It's the people that have that little bit of knowledge that think they're wonderful. Make sure you've got the experience before you ride. You can go out and own a horse, that's fine, as long as you've got help looking after it. But don't ride it unless you know what you're doing. You're not putting anyone in danger, like you or your horse.
Or the public.
Yeah, don't put the public in danger, because that normally backfires a lot worse than if you put yourself in danger. Your weight, don't ride a horse if you're too fat for it. Don't ride a horse if you're too tall for it.
Sorry.
Ride a horse if you're not too heavy for it. I think weight is obviously the most important. Height is important when you're doing more than just kind of basic stuff, because if I go out and try and jump Monty or Louis, I'm like 10 times too tall for them, and I'm going to unbalance them, and that's causing issues, and that's could be putting both of us in danger.
Only do it if you're really, really balanced, which most tall people are.
There's no point putting yourself and your horse in danger. The likelihood is if you're too tall for it, you bought it a long time ago and you've had your days on it, and it's now just with you chilling.
I agree. If you're too tall, you're too fat, too heavy, don't have experience riding, and you go out and buy a horse, don't just go and get on it in a field.
That's never going to end well.
Like so many people talk to themselves, and it's like, it's all well and good teaching yourselves, but you need help. Everybody needs help, and everybody needs someone on the ground.
Even the top riders in the country still get help.
Yeah.
Because everyone needs help in one aspect or another.
It doesn't, I'm not even saying you have to have an instructor, but you have to have someone at some point there saying, look, you need to work on this.
There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I think it's great when people ask for help. I don't look down on them or anything.
Cool. There's these little yellow ladybugs, like mini ones, and they keep climbing on. I'm scared of ladybugs. Right, I think that one's done.
Right guys, it is so hot out here and we are dying, and we literally cannot do any more because we're about to explode from the heat.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave you with this now. We'll probably be doing like 2 other parts of this because we had so many unpopular opinions, and it is really fun talking about it all.
Also, if you have more unpopular opinions, put them in the comments.
Comments below. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you find it entertaining. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you in part 2. See you later.
Bye.